Hi guys, I am filming this way later in the day. It's like after we've gone out and ran everywhere and I had a brainstorm. So I've been doing this kind of section in the podcast where I pick a bunch of patterns that I found on Ravelry throughout the week, and I've decided to talk about them and show you guys them. Okay, so I've decided that I went through and I talked with my husband, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I had people comment on their favorite pattern that I showed them, and I randomly picked one each week? So that's what I'm going to do. Whenever you leave a comment, make sure to put down your favorite pattern below that I talked about, and I will use a random comment picker and pick someone and gift them the pattern. Either hopefully through Ravelry if you guys use it, or if not, we'll figure out a way. That's all I wanted to say in this really quick, like, couple of minute break that I just decided to throw in. So I hope that you guys enjoy the podcast, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. Hi guys. My name is Mandy, and this is my Knitting and Crochet podcast. I talk to you about all things involving knitting, crocheting, crafting in general that I've gotten up to throughout the week, whether they're finished items, works in progress, or kind of things I've shoved in the closet because they've driven me crazy. I love to share patterns, and this week I have, I think, 6 different patterns to show you that I've found while browsing Instagram or Ravelry. Speaking of which, you can find me on both Instagram and Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits, so feel free to reach out there if you want. I am always open to new friend requests. So this week is a super exciting week for me because I'm going to be drawing a winner for the 100 subscriber giveaway, so I will be inserting a clip for that in just a little bit. And I finished my Musselburgh. I'm super happy about that. I've been working on a Musselburgh for my daughter for a little bit now. I haven't been solely working on it, but I had a doctor's appointment this week and it was good to bring it along. And since I only had the decreases left, it was pretty easy to finish. And I've also started a test knit, so yay, I'm super excited about it. I'm using my favorite color pink, like, of all time, so I can't wait to show you that. Anyways, let's get started. So first off, I'm gonna show you the hat that I finished, and this is for my daughter. This is a Musselburgh, and if you followed the podcast for a little bit, you'll know that I love to make these. This is probably my favorite hat pattern. It is a double-sided hat. So basically what you do is you start at the top with increases and then increase until you're basically done increasing. The pattern goes through all different ways. The pattern is very well written. So you start off every size starts off the same way. You increase up until I think you have 1 inch, and then you check your gauge, and then it will tell you based on your gauge and the size you want to make how many increases you need. And once you're done increasing, you're basically just knitting straight for a very long time, depending on the size that you're making. And then once you hit the inches, you basically decrease, and then you have a stockinette tube. Now, I've seen people do many different alterations, variations on the Musselburgh. I've seen some have ribbing. I've seen some have ribbing just in the middle. They'll mix different color yarns and all sorts of interesting ways you can kind of spice up this pattern if you're not a big fan of plain stockinette. But for me, I love the reason I think I love the Musselburgh so much is that I love the way plain stockinette hats look. So that is why I never add ribbing to this one. Now, the yarn that I used was Mouse's Makes yarn, so it's Mouse Witch yarns, and it's the Year of Yarn and it's a color that I cannot remember. For some reason I want to say it's January, but I always forget the color month on it. But for what it's worth, if you go to her shop, she's re-released these colors, and it should be pretty easy to pick out the right one. I'm sorry. I will put it down below because I know that as soon as I'm done filming this, I'll check and see what color it is. So future Mandy will know what she's talking about, unlike current Mandy. But I love the way that this knit up, and the color is such a pretty pink. Now, this hat was knit and fingering weight, and it did not take the whole skein of yarn. I did that on purpose. I figured I wasn't going to make this one of the ones where you need to roll up the brim or else it's slouchy. So this fits her head like pretty good just as is with no double brim. The reason that I did that is because I believe I'm going to take the rest of the yarn and make her 16-inch doll, the American Girl doll size doll, a hat. That was terribly worded. I'm going to make her doll a hat with the rest of this yarn. That's what I meant. And the doll happens to be the size of an American Girl doll. It's Sunday morning, guys. It's 9:41, so it's too early to know exactly what I'm talking about. But I love the way that this knit up, and I think that it would be such a pretty sweater. These colors are all my daughter. She's 9. These colors are like my daughter completely. She loves like the light pastel colors, and so I know that as soon as I'm done showing this hat, she's gonna take it. Anyways, what else can I tell you? I know. So I'm going to show you my flax that I've been working on, because I want to show you the test knit last, because, you know, the test knit has been my main focus for this week. I worked on the flax on last Sunday, I think. Sorry, I have 2 balls of yarn connected to it, so it's going to seem like a mess for a minute. So I have the body, not all of the body, but I have enough of the body to have cast on an arm and almost finished the arm. So I think the arm goes to like 3/4, like right there on me. So I just need a little bit more. But if you look at the way that the sleeve kind of knit up, I think that's a pretty happy coincidence. Do you see how it's kind of pulling like that, striping? See, here's the thing. I hope the other side does that too. Not that it, well, you know, not that it really matters, but I think it's going to be fun no matter what. I was looking at this sweater and I kept going, you know, it reminds me of Rainbow Bright, but that's not what I mean. It's not Rainbow Bright that it reminds me of. It's Light Bright. Do you guys remember Light Brights? I used to love playing with those as a kid, so this is definitely Light Bright to me. I can't remember the last time I've actually seen one of these. So this pattern is Flax Sock by Tin Can Knits, and I've knit this quite a few times, but I've knit them for other people. This flax is going to be for me. Now I'm going to talk about some of the options that I've done, because they have different ways you can customize this pattern. So the first thing that I did was I cast on right after you would start knitting the ribbing. So I believe that this is the option 2 neckline. And the reason that I did that was because it gives the neckline, it makes the neckline more sturdy because you have a cast on edge and you're not going directly into the ribbing. Now you'll see that there's ribbing here because I knit down a little bit and then I went back up and I knit the ribbing. So another option that I did for this is I did short rows, and the short rows are pretty they're very well described in the pattern. You basically start so I guess I can show you on the sweater. You've got a marker right here, and you're basically knitting short rows from the back side. So you start from this side and you knit this side, and then you knit this side, but you don't go that far over, and then you knit the other side and you don't go that far over. This is a terrible explanation. Let me show you on the hat because it's easier to. Okay, so you have a marker, let's just say you have a marker here and a marker here. Now, this is your center. You're going to start from this marker, and then you'll knit to this marker. Then you knit back, but you don't go as far as the marker. And then you do the same thing on the other side, and then you go back in, and you go in a little more. If you've knit short rows before, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've never knit short rows before, Tin Can Knits has an excellent tutorial to explain exactly what's going on with the flax. And it helped me actually kind of understand where I was putting the markers, because you knit the short rows before you split for the sleeves. So it's not down at the bottom, it's up at the top. And it was just, all of their tutorials make everything so super simple to understand. I can't wait for this pattern to fit, this sweater to be finished. I'm super excited about wearing it. Now, we're going on vacation in a couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be taking this and maybe the other two Musselburghs that I just have cast on up until the increases are done. So the increases are all done. All I need to do is knit round and round. But I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how fast the test knit goes for me, because maybe I'll get so much of this done that I won't want to bring it. Because like I said, I just need a little bit more on this sleeve, and then the body, and then this other sleeve. But I don't know. The flax is a great pattern to bring on a road trip, because since it's a lot of round and round knitting, there's not much in the way of paying attention. Unlike the next pattern that I'm going to show you. Okay, because I definitely can't bring this one with me on vacation, and you're gonna see why in a second here. This is a test knit, and let me straighten it out. And I was super excited to sign up for this. My yarn's all tangled. I was super excited to sign up for this because I saw the sweater and I was like, wow, I would really love to make this, even if it wasn't a test knit. So the pattern is from Andrea Gone. I believe that's how it's pronounced, and if not, I'll put it down below. It's called the Willow Pullover, and it's test knitting right now, so I can't link you to a Ravelry pattern. But I will definitely share that information as soon as I'm able to. So it's an all over basket weave pattern, and I've got this on the shortest cord. I'm sorry. So it's hard to show, but you start bottom up, and this is basically what I have. I stopped right as I need to split for the front and the back, which basically is where the sleeves are supposed to come in, I'm almost positive. I haven't read. So unlike what you're supposed to do, I didn't read ahead in the pattern. I'm historically bad at that. But I don't know. Sometimes I'll look at a pattern and I'll just be like, I can't wait to start this. And I just kind of start knitting, and then, you know, it's blown up in my face before where you miss like instructions, but generally it turns out pretty okay. So you start this knitting from the bottom up, and I don't know if you can tell, but it has a tubular cast on. And this was, I think no, it wasn't my first time. I think this was my second time doing a tubular cast on, and it was okay. I did have to cast on a ton of stitches because I am knitting a size 4, which I believe correlates to a bust size of around 39. And the pattern is supposed to have around 8 inches of ease. So there were enough stitches to cast on that I would basically count. I cast on a whole bunch of them, and then I put stitch markers in between each 10 and just kept doing it until I got to 24 because that was the number I needed to cast on. But I love the way it's coming out, and this pink is my favorite color yarn. And I'm going to reach into my bag here and pull out the yarn so I can talk about the yarn that I'm using. It is Lang Yarns Regina. So this is 50% cotton, 24% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 6% wool. It is a DK weight, and it comes in 50-gram balls. So this is a new to me yarn, and it is very soft and very light. So even though this is a DK weight sweater and it's all over basket weave, using this yarn makes it a very lightweight sweater, and I feel like this could be something that I could wear even in the summer. Now don't freak out. I know it's all over basket weave and DK weight, but trust me, this yarn is super light. I love it. And it's 50% cotton. And look at the pink. I was so happy to find this color pink. So I got this yarn from Little Knits. And if you've never heard of Little Knits before, if you are ever in need of yarn for a sweater, I would recommend checking them out. The reason that I'm a big fan of theirs is that they sell bags of five of the same yarn. So I was able to get bags of 5 of this, and I believe the bags were only around $30. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. They do have a newsletter where they talk about their yarn deals, so it's a good site to check out. I love the pink. Sorry, the cat's jumping around. Silly. So today for the basket weave sweater, I'm going to be splitting for the front and the back. And I'm pretty sure that basket weave sweater is going to be my main focus for the next week. Because A, I'm super excited about it, and B, it's a test knit, so I want to make sure that I give it enough attention. And believe it or not, that's like all of the knitting that I have to show you. I am going to open up my phone so I can talk about the patterns that I found this week. I have my notes on my phone, so if you see me looking down, that's why. Okay, so I ran across a cardigan that was for free, and it was super pretty. It is called Rosa, and it is by Wench Roald, I believe. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. I will put all the information in the links down below. This is a sport weight cardigan, and it's color work, and it has a really pretty color work yoke. So I thought that this would be super pretty to wear, especially Depending on what colors you knit this cardigan in, it could work for like Christmas, it could work for autumn, it could be a really pretty spring cardigan. And the main thing that jumped out for me is that it's free. I mean, it's a beautiful colorwork cardigan and it's a free pattern, so you can look at the pattern, try it out, and if you don't like it, there's no right? It's free. So whenever I saw that on Ravelry, I was like, whoa, that's really awesome. Okay, so hopefully I put the pictures up and the information down below so that you guys can check it out too if you like. The next pattern that I ran across is called the Cloudy Day Raglan, and it's by Suvi Knits. And this one I was a really big fan of. So I really like, I'm trying to think of how to word it. I really like adding like Surrey silk or mohair to what I'm knitting. I really like the halo that it gives it. And this Cloudy Day Raglan, so I'm going to put up a picture so you don't have to listen to my description, but I'm going to try to anyway. So it has lace down here and it has ribbing along the sleeves. It is knit in, basically you're going to hold fingering and some sort of mohair together, and it'll give you like a DK weight. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it that way. You could just use like a DK weight yarn. But it's a super beautiful raglan, and when I saw it, I just thought that I would love to make it. I'm a big fan of knitting patterns that have lace in them. Sometimes the thing that you need more than anything else in the world is just something to keep your brain busy, right? And this pattern really looks like it'd be a good one. It has, like I said, it's not ribbing that it has, it's like a pearl stripe pattern up the sleeves and right here, and then it has really pretty lace. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, that one is a paid for pattern, and I'm not sure how much it costs. Let me check. It is 720 euros, but well, I can't say that anymore. It was 20% off until June 11th, but that's previous, so it's not going to help very much now. Okay, so I'm going to share 3 patterns by the same designer because I am part of the designer's newsletter, and she was having a sale, and I love a lot of her patterns, and the reason that I do is because they have such interesting construction, and she uses garter stitch and lines in such really cool ways that I've just got to share them. Okay, so the designer is Shayna Lines Designs. She's known on Ravelry as Shayna S. Cohen. And the first pattern that I'm going to talk about is the modular bento bag. So I love bags, and I love bags that you can use different color yarns in. So have you ever seen like the granny square bags where you make 3 granny squares and then you kind of fold them together and you have a bag? So this is what it reminds me of, but it's for knitting, and the pattern pictures have such pretty colors, and there are so many different ways you can make this, and there are so many different ways you can stripe it, and so many different color combinations that I just feel that this bag pattern, you could basically take it and turn it into whatever you want. So, and you know me, I love bright colors and I love rainbows and I love like lime greens. So having a bag pattern that I can just basically use as a template to make any type of bag that I want is just an awesome, awesome thing. So I definitely got that bag pattern, and I know that it's going to be one of my favorites, especially as my daughter gets older and she's wanting bags. Like to carry things to and from school, because like me, she loves bright colors, but she also loves pastel colors. So it makes it easier when you can definitely kind of customize to wear exactly what she wants. Now, the next pattern that I'm going to talk about is a tee for the summer, and it is called Shoulder Season, and it's also by Shayna S. Cohen, Shayna Lines Designs. And I really like this one because it is, so I've knit the recalibrate, and I love the construction on that. It is basically all garter stitch, and it was so much fun. And now that whenever I saw that she had a sale going on, I went through the rest of her patterns just to see which ones kind of jumped out at me, and this one definitely did. I love the idea of making tees, especially now when next week it's gonna be like in the high 90s. It's gonna be 98, and we're in Michigan, so we're really not used to like super hot weather. So it's definitely not time to make like winter garments and stuff. It's definitely time to make like tees and things like that. So I thought that this pattern was really cute. Hopefully you're seeing a picture of it. And the sample patterns, they all have pops of color at the shoulders. And for me, that's super fun. I would love to make it like in an all over pink and then put like green up here. I don't know, something like that. The last pattern, well, not the last pattern total, but the last pattern that I have from Shayna Lines Designs is one that I've been looking at for forever. And this is because I love making hats almost as much as I love making sweaters. But it just seems like sweaters take a lot longer, so I don't make as many hats. But this is called the Split Decision Hat, and it's also from Shayna S. Cohen, Shayna Lines Designs. And this, I love everything about this hat. I love asymmetrical hats. I love asymmetrical everything. Part of me has been like dying to make an asymmetrical sweater somehow, like with stripes here and then different stripes here. It's just something that's always made me happy to look at. I love the idea of asymmetrical anything. And when I saw this hat, I thought that it would make a really cute hat, whether I knit it for my son or my daughter or myself. You can put so many different, it's kind of like the bento bag, right? You can customize it in so many different ways that one hat is not gonna look anything like another hat. You could do it all in one color even, and it's still going to look really great. So that was the third pattern from Shayna Lines Designs, and I've always noticed that one when it comes across my Instagram feed, so I thought I would share it here. So the last pattern that I need to share with you guys, because I ran across it, and sorry, I'm looking down. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to bring up the information on the pattern so I'm not telling you the wrong things, and I don't have to like write a huge paragraph of how wrong I was down below. Okay, so the last pattern is a crochet pattern, and as soon as I put up a picture here, you're going to know exactly why I'm sharing it and why I love it and why I totally need to make it. So it's called the Peking Cat Mosaic Bag and Pillow by Natalie Kononova. it's down below. This is a crochet pattern, and it looks like it's mosaic crochet, and it's so cute. This would make either a super cute pillow or a super cute bag, and it looks like there's instructions for both in the pattern. And it is of a little cat peeking, right? I haven't shown this to my daughter yet because I know as soon as I do, she's never going to stop asking me to make this pattern. And since I'm knitting 2 sweaters right now, I kind of don't want to, but I will show her eventually. A lot of people, well, there are project pictures in the pattern on the pattern page that show people using color changing yarns for the cat, and I think that that looks really pretty. And I was super excited when I saw this. I believe I saw it, you know, I have to stay off Ravelry. I go through like the Ravelry hat right now every couple of days just to see what's new, and I swear I get into so much trouble looking at all that stuff because, right, it seems like I have a lot of different options to make sweaters. I mean, I have a couple of books on knitting sweaters, and I have some patterns for knitting sweaters, and I definitely don't need more patterns, but every time I look at Hat right now, I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. I'm sure you guys do the same thing. It's just what it is, right? We're crafters. We love to get inspired and just take a look and see what everybody else is doing all around the world. And we're super lucky to live in a time where that's possible. I can log into Instagram and see what someone's doing completely around, halfway around the world. And it's just it's a good thing. It's a good time. But those are the 6 patterns that I have to talk to you about today. Before I forget, this is what I'm wearing this is just a simple knit sweater. There's not really a pattern for it. This is actually from a Craftsy course on machine knitting, and I don't know if you can tell, but these are just folded over sleeves. And this yarn is from Woolly Mama Yarns, and I believe it was a November 2021 or 2022 colorway. And the inspiration for this color was the Australian Robin, and I love it. And if you look up like Australian Robin, you'll definitely see how this is like inspired by it. So this is one of my favorite lightweight sweaters to wear because it's only it's fingering, right? So it's super lightweight. And I mean, depending on if you're hot or you're cold, it's a good sweater to wear year round. But if you get too warm in the summer, it might not be so good. Right now I'm cold, but like I said, it's only 10 a.m. So talk to me again at like the hottest point of the day and we'll see if I'm still wearing it. Okay, so I am going to I'll insert like a screenshot here for the winners because I haven't drawn them yet. So as soon as I stop recording, I'm going to go on my computer and screenshot the winners of the giveaway. There will be 2 of them, and the first person drawn gets their choice of bag unless they didn't have a preference, and then I'll let the second person drawn get whatever their preference was and vice versa. So here's the screenshot. So if I draw your name, please contact me. You can contact me on either Ravelry as Mandy Vaughn Knits or on Instagram as Mandy Vaughn Knits, and give me your address and who I'm sending the prize to. And I will include some goodies like stitch markers and some other things, because I promised, I swore to my daughter that I'd let her pick something out. So that's what she's going to do, and she's super excited about doing it. I have like some stitch markers that she can pick out. I have little stitch marker bags. I really like Adore Knit, and if you've never heard of her, she does stitch markers and she also does bags. She actually did this bag. Look. This bag. I love this bag. Hang on, where's the cat? Can you see it says World Domination for Cats? And that is who made it. Adore Knit. And she does beautiful stitch markers. Ooh, is that gonna show up? Maybe. Don't show me, show the cat. There we go. I love this bag. She does beautiful stitch markers, and she also makes bags too. And when I saw that pattern for the bag, I'm like, because you know me and cats, right? I love cats. Cats are one of my favorite animals, and I love dogs as well. Don't hate me. I love dogs just as much. The only problem is, because I'm paralyzed, dogs are so much work with walking, and just they're such high energy. We haven't gotten a dog after our old one died because it's just, my health just isn't good enough yet. So we're working on it. Hopefully when the kids get a little bit older, but we'll have to see. Anyways, congratulations winners, please reach out. Okay, so I am done. I'm done talking about knitting. So if you don't want to hear 5 minutes about what happened this week, then thank you so much for stopping by. I hope to see you guys next week. And if you're hanging around, well, this week was kind of cruddy. So I said that on I said last week that on, I think Tuesday, was it yeah, I think it was Tuesday, I had a meeting with my neurosurgeon, not neurologist, neurosurgeon. And so we were going to talk about how my spinal fluid is collecting underneath my skin, and how last week it started getting very bad to the point where it would kind of fill up, and it was filling up so much it was bruising my skin, like from the inside. And so we talked to him, and what he basically said was if it were up to him, he wouldn't go back in and fix anything because it's closed. He said that if it starts leaking, well, then we have to go back in. But he would give it maybe a 50-50 chance of succeeding if we went back in. Now, you have to understand, for I think since last Saturday, I've been in such pain from sitting for too long, because the pressure will just exponentially go up throughout the day, that this was not a very good thing to hear. So on Wednesday, we reached out to get a second opinion, because he basically left it to my decision. He's like, it's up to you. We can either go back in or not. I'll definitely go back in and fix it, but I'm going to leave that decision up to you. Now, I have no clue what to do, because I really want this fixed. I've gotten to the point where I wish I never would have had my surgery in November. Even though I can tell that my legs have gotten stronger, it doesn't seem worth it to me because it's just what it is. So that was my week. Tuesday, going to the neurosurgeon and getting that news, and then Wednesday reaching out for a second opinion. And I was really worried about getting a second opinion because I don't want my doctor to hate me. Is that like, do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds bad, right? Like, I don't want him to think I don't think he knows what he's doing, because I know he does. It's just, what if there's, I don't want him to take offense to it. I don't, because, so I am a software engineer, and one of the things I've learned throughout however long I've been working is that there are so many different ways to approach the same problem that it's a great idea to bounce an idea off of somebody else to see what they think, because you might have come up with one way to do something, but like they might have a completely different vision, and their idea might be a heck of a lot simpler, and it just might work better, and you'll never know unless you check it out. So that's kind of how I approach it, but part of me is still kind of worried. I really don't want him to be upset about it. That's silly, right? It's not silly. When I was talking to the lady about getting the second opinion, she's like, yeah, you know, I seem to run across two types of people. The first type is really worried about getting the second opinion and they don't want to hurt their doctor's feelings. And the other type of person is like, whatever, I don't care. And I told her, I'm like, I wish I was like the person who didn't care. So that's where I'm at this week. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. For reading and watching, I read a book called The Couple at 9, Cottage 9, Room 9. I'm putting it down below. It was by Claire Douglas, and it was a very complete book. So have you ever read a book where, like, when it ended, you're like, well, what about this and this and this and that? The Couple at Room, no, it's not a room. It was a cottage, like a cottage they live in. So it doesn't make sense that it was called The Couple at Room 9. I don't know why I keep wanting to say that. But future Mandy has put the actual name down below. Anyways, this book was super complete. It was about a couple that inherited like a cottage from their grandmother, and they're digging up the garden. Sorry, the birds are distracting me. They're digging up the garden to basically do a kitchen remodel, and they find two bodies, and the book is all about who these bodies were and what happened, and it was a really good book. The book I'm reading right now, because I finished that one, is called The Last Murder at the End of the World. And I'm going to hold off saying anything else about this book, except it's really good. It was really surprising how much I like it so far. And hopefully next week I'll be able to recap it, because I haven't gotten too far into it. But I love the premise of it, and I'm super excited to read it. Anyways, I'm going to go now. I hope that you guys are having a beautiful start of summer, and I hope that you're having an awesome week, and I hope that I will see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.